Welcome to today's Explainer. We are jumping right into some fascinating source material today to help you completely transform your academic writing. We're going to take it from sounding like just your personal opinion to a highly authoritative, objective argument. Specifically, we're focusing on Lesson 29 from our resources, using it and their structures to totally upgrade your writer's voice. So if you've ever been told your essay sounds a bit too subjective, or honestly, if you just want to sound like a commanding published scholar, you are in the exact right place.
Okay, let's kick things off by comparing two sentences. Take a quick look. Which one of these do you think is pulling the better grade at a university, and why? The first one is direct, sure, but it kind of sounds like a guess, doesn't it? The second one, though? That sounds like a measured, serious academic evaluation. Throughout this explainer, we're going to deconstruct exactly how you can achieve that polished, objective style.
Which brings us right to Section 1, the personal pronoun trap.
So you might be wondering, why do graders and professors seem to absolutely despise words like I, we, and you in your essays? I promise, it's not that they dislike you personally. It's just that academic English demands an impersonal style. Think about it. When you say I believe, you're making yourself the focal point. But in academia, the focus always needs to be on the data, the research, and the argument itself.
There's actually some really fascinating research on this in our source material. Back in 1994, a researcher named Banks pointed out that trying to boost your argument's conviction with phrases like, I deeply believe, is actually fraught with hazards. In fact, when they analyze huge corpuses of student essays, they find that novice writers are way more likely to use a first-person pronoun paired with a strong verb. And to a trained academic eye, that usually just signals a lower level of proficiency and a lack of formal register. And wow, this really illustrates how risky it is out there in the actual publishing world. Look at these comments from real academics talking about formal writing rules. One chemistry PhD student noted that using we is a privilege, one that's usually reserved strictly for senior scholars. Another science student flat out admitted that if they dared to use I or we, their advisor would literally just edit those personal pronouns straight out. It's a huge risk.
So how do we fix it? Let's get into Section 2, upgrading with its structures.
If we shouldn't use I, what's the antidote? Well, mastering it and their structures is quite literally a formalized, essential skill for higher education. You can see it right here in these textbook exercises. These structures are explicitly taught because they shift the prominence away from you, the author. By using what's called an empty or preparatory subject, you're able to take a step back. You can present a balanced discussion of contrasting viewpoints without aggressively tying yourself to one rigid statement. It's your ultimate tool for letting the evidence shine. Okay, here is the secret sauce. It's a simple three-step formula that you can apply to almost any argument. Step 1, start with your empty subject, it. Step 2, drop in a passive reporting verb. Think is believed, is argued, or is estimated. Step 3, just follow it up with that and plug in your claim. Let's actually see this in action. Check out this before and after transformation. I cannot foresee sounds, frankly, like a personal limitation. But when we apply our formula to get, it is difficult to foresee a significant improvement, boom. Instantly less personal, way more professional. We completely remove the subjective I and reframe the difficulty as an objective reality.
And the best part is, this doesn't just work for your own ideas. It works for reporting other people's opinions too. In the first example, the focus is heavily on the people doing the arguing. Educationalists have argued. But when we use our passive structure, it has been argued by educationalists. Suddenly the argument itself takes center stage. The people become secondary to the ideas.
Which leads us nicely to Section 3, introducing evidence with their.
Now that we've got it down, let's talk about its close sibling. Just like it, the their structure is another incredibly useful empty vessel. It basically lets you fade completely into the background while stating that a fact or debate or conclusion just exists. It is absolutely perfect for when you need to present data or acknowledge a debate without actually picking a side yet. Just compare these two. We can draw a number of conclusions is a bit amateur sounding, right? I mean, who exactly is we? It's super vague. But the upgraded version, there are a number of conclusions that can be drawn, lets the evidence speak entirely for itself. It tells your reader that these conclusions exist inherently in the data, regardless of who's looking at them. Here's another fantastic example from our sources. Notice how that second sentence instantly sounds like a published, peer-reviewed paper. There has been considerable argument about vitamin B12. It perfectly balances contrasting viewpoints. It takes a casual thought about what people are arguing about and elevates it into a formal, objective observation.
Moving right along to Section 4, Hedging and Expressing Caution.
We absolutely have to talk about hedging. This is the academic practice of softening your statements to show appropriate caution. It's basically how you prove to your professor that you understand the nuances and limitations of your own research. The source material highlights how combining those empty it and their subjects with modal verbs gives you the perfect tone of academic modesty. It seems to me still has that pesky personal pronoun, but refine it to it would seem that. It's a subtle tweak, but a massive upgrade in your tone.
Words like must, seems, could, and would are your best friends here. By using phrases like, it could be argued that, or there seems to have been, you are entirely avoiding the dreaded phrase, in my opinion, but you're accomplishing the exact same goal. You're gently putting a theory forward while intentionally leaving room for alternative interpretations. That is smart writing.
Bringing it all together now in Section 5, Evaluating Academic Arguments. Because at the end of the day, higher education isn't just about stating facts, is it? It's about evaluating them, like an expert. So here is a rapid-fire cheat sheet of verbs that pair flawlessly with it. Need to drop a statistic? It is estimated that. Want to show a general consensus? It is widely accepted that. Ready to make a strong deduction? It seems clear that. This is your toolkit to highlight debates and draw conclusions with total objectivity.
Now, if you take only one thing away from this explainer, let it be this core philosophy right here. When you write I think, you are literally asking the grader to trust you, your feelings, your limited perspective. But when you write it is argued or there is evidence, you are asking them to trust the evidence. And academic writing is always about trusting the data, not your personal feelings.
So, I'm going to leave you with a bit of a provocative question to chew on. Go back, look at the last academic text you wrote, and ask yourself honestly, who is the main character in that paper? Is it you, hiding behind I think and we believe? Or is it your evidence, standing proudly behind it could be argued and there is clear data? Make the switch, try out these structures, and watch your writing totally transform. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and happy writing.